Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Adrian here, and today we'll be reacting to what is the worst steel type Pokemon by WolfeyVGC. Why steel type specifically? So first of all, I obviously follow Wolfey and I kind of know VGC. It's not like I'm super talented in it, but I know the basics. I know how to build a team. I know how they synergize with each other. Like I know the basics in doubles, and doubles is obviously my favorite. And I follow Wolfie because he's like one of the funniest VGC content creator. So I just like chill, watch him like while chilling. And I did watch a series of like the best Pokemon of each type, and I have also been like following like the worst Pokemon of each type. And Steel is my favorite type in the game, and it's like really good. Steel types are like broken as. Steel is my favorite type in the game, and like steel types are like really like good. If you ask me like right now, what do you think is the worst steel type? I really can't think of any. I would say Trash Cloak, Wormadam, maybe. I guess Aggron and Bastiodon because of the type. Their typing are really bad, but Body Press also made them really good. And Aggron is like good as a mega now with Body Press. Hmm. See, it's so hard to think of bad steel types. Oh, I guess Revavroom is also kind of bad. Like you don't think about it, but it's kind of bad because it is poison steel, which right off the top of your head you won't think, oh, it's not that bad. But it's resisting fairy like twice. Like poison already resists fairy, steel already resists fairy. Like it's kind of too much, I feel like. But the issue is poison is not that good offensively, I feel. The only good thing is like it hits poison fairy types like offensively, but steel already does that. So it's doing its job like twice. So I guess that would kind of be against it. But yeah, anyways, let's just jump into it. No more theory crafting, and let's see what Wolfie has to say over here.
Younger, steel was my single favorite type. And I imagine
Oh my god, Wolfie! Jinx! Steel is my favorite type too. Dude, Metagross is like my favorite Pokemon of all time ever since like Gen 3. And like Steven Stone is till date my favorite champion in the entire franchise. Same with Metagross. Favorite Pokemon still
that
now.
this isn't an unpopular opinion. The idea of magical monsters made of metal is, I think,
Metagross! Dude, Metagross! My favorite.
inherently appealing. But also, the way that steel works in the game is just
Steven Stone, oh my god, Wolfie. Dude, love you, dude. Showing all my
really
favorites.
neat. It is the single most defensive type, with
Yes, crap ton of
tons of
resistances.
resistances more than any other type by far, and only a couple weaknesses. As someone who preferred a defensive playstyle in competitive for many years, steel was basically everything I could ask for. Many of the best
Yes.
Pokemon of all time are steel
Zacian, dude, Zacian was like broken as hell. God, Zacian was broken as hell in Sword and Shield. And it got nerfed to the ground in Scarlet and
Many of the
Violet.
best Pokemon right now are
I forgot how insanely broken Golden Go is or was broken.
steel type, but none of this is especially
Like it's so annoying. Like, why does it get to be so annoying? I don't know.
relevant because today I want to find out what is the worst steel type Pokemon.
It's
As a
just going to
reminder,
be
I'm only
so
talking
hard.
about these Pokemon competitively. I'm not talking about their worth as
Yes, this is important, chat, because he's only talking about doubles, not like in singles or like their designs or anything. So don't go hate him like if your favorites are in the list.
Pokemon or their design or anything like that. I'm strictly talking about competitive results over the years, and I will only be talking about the official competitive format rather than any of the other ways you can play Pokemon.
By that he means singles.
There is a theme among the Pokemon that are on this list, I noticed, and that is many of them are very defensive Pokemon without much to do. This
Yes, because like if your mon is just a sitting duck, like it can't do anything. Like there's no point in like sponging all the hits and like doing nothing back to your opponents because like eventually they'll like burst you down. Like as much as you're defensive, like you need to provide something to the team because or else you are just It just
This is
exists.
perhaps counterintuitive in a way. So you would think that a defensive steel type, which wants to be defensive, would play to the type as a whole. And that is true in general. Many of the best steel type Pokemon are good in part because they're so hard to remove.
I don't. It's not like I disagree with it, but I feel like it's an added bonus to steel, the good steel types. Like you're really offensive, but being steel gives you this defensive profile where you can become like this, all rounder where like you kind of resist many hits while also being able to dish out more damage. Like it's more of an added benefit, I feel like.
However, being hard to remove isn't a virtue on its own. You need to be able to do something back. Because many of the
Yes,
Pokemon we're
that's
going to
what I
talk
was
about
saying.
today do excel at sticking around, they just don't really excel at what comes after that. Anyway, this is
See, that's what I was saying because like they're good at sticking around, but if you can't do anything, like if you can't provide anything else, it's kind of pointless.
actually the case for the first Pokemon on our list, coming in at number 10, Berserker.
Berserk, doesn't it have like a signature ability which is like boosting the steel type moves by
I really
50%?
like Berserker. I think the design is cool, and I think the fact that they gave a new evolution to Meowth that has its own
I'm not a huge fan though because like Meowth already got an Alolan form, and the very next region it got a new evolution and a Gigantamax form. So I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of it, but it's more like Meowth's fault, not Berserker's fault.
distinct identity is also pretty neat, even though it's not as iconic as regular Persian or even a lowland Persian in my opinion. That being said, what I really like about Berserker is its ability Steely Spirit. Steely Spirit is on paper really, really good. It gives a 50% power boost to all steel type moves used by your side of the field.
Yes, but the issue arises that you'll be overlapping on types, and steel is not really a type that you want to overlap though. Like other types are fine, but steel is not really though, I feel like. But yeah, I guess you can. I don't know what it can do. It can like be a support, like Screech. Does it learn Fake Out? I don't know.
A 50% damage boost is pretty nuts, to be clear. That's effectively the choice band or choice specs item, and those items are really good and come with a major drawback. Berserker also has a couple really important supporting moves, such as Fake Out,
Oh,
one
it
of the
does get Fake Out, so it could be a good support. Does it get Helping Hand? It could be good, right? On paper, it should be good. Like you Fake Out, then you can give Helping Hand, which is a 50% boost. Then you can like then your ability like already gives another 50% boost, so that's like 100% boost.
synonymous with competitive play at this point, and Helping Hand, which can give another 50%
Yeah,
damage boost to a partner. I would not say that Berserker is a bad Pokemon, but it does have some
but I
weaknesses
don't think it's good defensively. Its defensive stats aren't that good. It's built for like
holding
offense,
it
I feel
back.
like.
The stats are not very good. The defense stat is high, but
The defense is kind of high, but the special defense is low. So like with like fire types, like if it's in champions right now, like one heat wave would take it out.
his special defense stat is quite low, and the HP stat is only like okay at
Yeah,
best.
it's
And
like
all this combines to make Berserker feel like a little bit squishier than you would expect for a steel type Pokemon that's also
yeah.
pretty slow. The attack set is totally usable given its ability, but it's not going to be doing like so much damage on its own. I would say the stats aren't really the main problem. The main problem is a little bit more conceptual when it comes to Berserker, and that's the fact that you don't really want to overlap steel typing on your
Yes,
team.
as I was saying, because like overlapping steel is not really a good thing because normally overlap is not a good thing. Like you don't want overlaps on your team. You need to prevent them as much as you can. Because even if you build a team with six Pokemons, you're only bringing like four of them to the battle. And like, let's say your enemy has like a Charizard and a Garchomp. Now, two of your mons are like weak to the enemies. And like, or not to mention like, Incineroar is like one of the best Pokemon like in VGC, and it being a fire type isn't helping it either.
Having two different steel types means that you're going to be overlapping a lot of the same weaknesses, especially
Mhm.
given that Berserker is a pure steel type Pokemon, so it has all of the weaknesses of steel by default.
And it's not good defensively either.
In theory, Berserker could be quite strong, and I actually am going to go so far as to
Yes, it's one of the theory mons and really good on paper, but not in practice.
say that I think it's a little bit underexplored. Spirit. And Berserker was in Scarlet and Violet, but it didn't see any use. I think it's a Pokemon that's really difficult to use and makes team building really awkward,
Yes,
but
it makes it awkward and difficult to use. It's not like it's bad. It's more like it's difficult to like use. That's a good
Pokemon
way
with
of putting
future
it.
potential that hasn't been fully realized. It's also one of the few Pokemon on our list that actually has a result. Berserker has one
Oh,
recorded result in February of 2020,
it's
where it
Ashen?
placed 62nd at the Oceania
Oh,
International
interesting.
Championships. Funnily enough, this Berserker was not paired with another Steel-type Pokemon, so Steely Spirit
Oh,
was simply used to boost Berserker itself. I think it's a
okay,
fun
that's
Pokemon, and
also
although
one
it
way
is
of
one of the
using
worst
it, but
Steel-type Pokemon, that's
come
where
on, that's not fun. You can give like 100% boost your ally. Like, but yeah, I guess the 50% to yourself is also good, I
testament to how
suppose.
good Steel is as a type overall, rather than Berserker being weak. Okay, coming in at number 9 is Fortress. Back when I used to play single battles,
Ah,
Fortress was
okay.
pretty exceptional. Thanks to its immense physical bulk and only one weakness, you could often just lead it and use it to set up multiple levels of.
Yes, actually, like Steel Bug is a good type defensively. People don't realize it because like it's 4 times weak to fire, but like you get tons of resistances. Like people don't realize it as much.
Entry hazards like Stealth Rocks, Toxic Spikes, and Spike.
People are like, oh, it's a Steel Fire. It's like weak to fire. No, sorry, Steel Bug is like weak to fire. It goes down to one fire move. Like it's true, that's true, but like you also get so much. Like remove a fire type. Just remove the fire type and bring the Steel Bug. Then you'll realize how good it
I
is.
think it's a very strong Pokemon in single battles, or at least it was back in like Generation 4 and Generation 5. In the official competitive format, Fortress has a harder time actually doing stuff. It is immensely physically bulky, but this is less impressive in double battles when your opponent has 2 Pokemon on the field,
I
because the odds of them having at
guess.
least one special attacker are a lot higher, meaning it's harder for Fortress to just sit in the field and be unkillable.
Oh,
Fortress
its
also has
special
pretty
defense is
mediocre
not that
special
great,
bulk, meaning that
I
like
guess.
it's not good if it's facing down
Oh, it's 60. That's not
a
good.
special attacker.
How much is it
I say
HP?
mediocre, it's not that bad. It's actually just bad in comparison to its massive physical bulk, which at some points were one of the highest in the game. In terms
60? I suppose it's not as bad, but it's not. I don't know. I'm not a nerd or like when it comes to like
of the types you
stats.
compare with Bug, Steel is the single best one, so I would say that Fortress has pretty good typing. Its abilities are okay. Sturdy will allow it to survive any hit from full
So that means like even if they have a fire type, you can survive one hit.
HP, which can be useful if you're worried about fire moves, which it does have a quadruple
I just say before Wolfie does.
weakness to. It also gets Overcoat, which makes it immune to Spore and Rage Powder, which
Oh, okay.
moves that are present in most competitive formats. The
Yeah,
issue
with
with
like
Fortress, of
Among
course,
Us
is
running
the fact that
around.
actually contributing to battle is really difficult for it. It's very, very slow, meaning it'll be moving after
Trick
most
Room.
other Pokemon attack. And while it can use moves like Gyro Ball to take advantage of its low speed stat, that's
Ah.
kind of it. Like, it doesn't get that many moves that really want it to be slow. I guess Volt Switch is another one you could argue. But for the most part, you'd rather have it be fast and use moves like Struggle Bug and Rock.
Who's using Volt Switch on
I guess,
Fortress?
even those aren't very great. The issue is really just its move pool and its lack of offensive stats. Fortress's stats entirely good
75 HP. Okay, it's not. I don't know. At least if the HP was a bit high. I don't.
towards being
Let's
bulky
continue.
and like hard to remove. And while that is really good in theory, it's only good if you can actually do something back. With a base 90 attack stat and a base 60 special attack stat and no like super high power moves that it can use, aside from Explosion, which, you know, come on, there just isn't that much for Fortress to do. That being said, Fortress does have an official result, and it's actually not a bad one either. Fortress placed 30th at Merida Regionals in
Oh my god. In a restricted format? Like, really? Damn, who is that crazy maniac?
2025. This is a format where you were allowed to have one restricted Pokemon on your team, like Miraidon or Calyrex or Groudon. Fortress on this team used an unusual moveset. It used actually Iron Defense and Body Press with Rest and Sleep Talk, and a Terra type of Ghost. It was paired with Kyogre to threaten the Fire type Pokemon, as well as Landorus and Carnage, presumably to threaten Miraidon and Koraidon in some sense. Fortress looks a little bit out of place on this team because it's actually like super offensive. It's a Tailwind team with Sarina, Tornadus, and Urshifu, and
Which is interesting because it's like slow as hell.
it seems very much to me like it's a team that just wants to run over the opponent with damage before they can react using
Hyper offense. Dude, I kind of like hyper offense, but it's not that. It's not. I don't say it's not as good, but it's like you kind of need a bit. You need to be a bit defensive. But hyper offense, when it's good in ladder. It's good on ladder. Like if you manage to catch them off guard, like and you can just run over, it's like really
Water
satisfying.
Spout and Surging Strikes. So why is Fortress on this team? My guess is that in these matchups, Fortress would use Iron Defense to make itself basically untouchable on the physical side. It could use Body Press to take advantage of its heightened defense stat, doing decent damage over time. And if its health ever got too low, it could use Rest and then Sleep Talk while it was asleep to
Oh,
continue doing damage and setting up even while it was asleep. This Fortress also held the Rocky Helmet item, meaning if you did only have physical attackers and that was
so
your
it's
only way
supposed to be
through it,
like an
you'd have to attack
annoying,
Fortress
like
directly and take a bunch of recoil.
it's just supposed to be like an annoying. It's just there to ruin physical attackers.
This is especially true for Urshifu Rapid Strike, who would hit 3 times and would crit ignoring the defense boosts, but then would have to take 3 different instances of Rocky Helmet damage. I don't know for sure if this is the reason behind this Fortress, but based on the team, that's my guess. And I think it is cool that a Pokemon like Fortress was able to keep up in a format where there were such high-powered Pokemon.
Yeah,
If you're
that's
enjoying this
so
video, please make sure to check and see if you are
interesting.
subscribed. This is a whole series, so if you're liking this one, presumably you're going to like future ones as well. I hope.
Oh my god. Guys, go subscribe to Wolfey.
I hope that the quality only gets better over time, and you don't want YouTube to not show you when there's a new video
I won't
just
skip
because
this
it's having a
chat.
bad day or whatever. Anyway, coming in number 8 is Bastiodon, and what I will say about Bastiodon
Wolfey. Wolfey, you did not just put Bastiodon. You did not just put Bastiodon on this list. Oh, it's higher than Fortress. Nah, the Bastiodon Mafia is coming, dude. The Bastiodon Mafia is coming. Like, if you don't know, there was this bunch of like, I don't know, players or something. They were like using Bastiodon in tournaments for some reason. Like, they were like spamming it or something. I don't know. Like, they were getting results with Bastiodon, I think, on in Scarlet and Violet. And I think they were called like this Bastiodon Mafia, which was like really interesting. I love Bastiodon personally. Like, I really like it. It's my favorite fossil Pokemon, like out of everything. But I know it's not as good. Like, but yeah, Wolfie, the Bastiodon Mafia is coming. Like, now that he said it, like people are gonna spam Bastiodon in the Bastiodon. I mean, sorry, the Bastiodon Mafia is gonna spam Bastiodons in Pokemon Champions.
is that there are people who love this Pokemon. I actually don't fully understand what was happening, but I remember at some point during Scarlet and Violet, there was talk of the Bastiodon Mafia.
Yes, and they're coming for you.
I don't know what this means, to be fully transparent. I don't even know how to go about figuring it out. I just feel like I heard whispers for like a period of like 4 months, maybe longer, 6 months. And I assume it's because people like Bastiodon, which is a little bit strange, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
What?
Okay,
What? What did Bastiodon do to you? Like, he's so cool. Look at him. He's a shield.
So Bastiodon is a Steel and Rock type Pokemon, and already right out of the gates, this is the biggest issue with Bastiodon. Steel and Rock is an abysmal type combination, giving you 2 quadruple weaknesses to Ground and Fighting, both of which are almost always common types in the official.
Yes, the typing is so bad. Like, the typing is so bad.
Competitive format. It's also weak to water, which is never
For being a defensive mon, that's like really bad.
And even your numerous resistances won't offset all these weaknesses. Stat-wise, Bastiodon is a little bit like a more balanced Fortress. It is incredibly physically bulky and also has good special defense, not quite as high, but still totally
Really
exceptional.
good. That's
Although it
like
is true
really
that
good.
it has a very low base HP stat, making these high defensive numbers like a little bit less impactful. Still
You
very
can like
bulky
EV
nonetheless.
train.
It's
You
even
can
slower
EV
than
train that.
Fortress, but it's also significantly weaker
Yeah,
on both
that's
the
the
attack.
issue. It's like so slow and it's like really weak. I think I was trying to do was I tried to heavy slam into a eternal flowet or something. I was intimidated. It did like 1 damage. Forfeited out of shame. It was on Showdown or something. I don't remember. It was like long back. I was like just trying to mess around.
And special attack stats. It has some of the worst offensive stats of any Pokemon. It's clearly geared towards being this incredible defensive Pokemon, but the issue is that with all the weaknesses in its typing are
Yeah,
with the
that's the
severity of
issue.
weaknesses with its typing, it doesn't actually get to feel as bulky as it actually is, meaning it has fewer turns in the field than you would like, and that's a problem because it doesn't have the offenses to do anything quickly when it comes to
Like, it has sturdy, but like, then what are you doing with all those defensive stats? Because like you're going to like just go down to like what do you call it? One, like, I don't know, like Squirtle spit water on you. Now you're down to 1 HP.
That being said, it was a great target for terrestrialization in theory because you could does mitigate the defensive problem, right? And Bastiodon actually is something that it can do. Just like Fortress
because the thing is it has wide guard. It's not a good wide guard user, but it has wide guard. So like in like restricted formats like Miraidon spamming discharge, uh what is it called, Kyogre spam, Kyogre, Calrex Shadow, Calrex Eyes, all of them spamming their AoE moves. Like wide guard is like really good. Even against Charizard, against its heat wave, it's good.
it learns body press, meaning you can actually use its huge physical defense
Oh
stat
yeah, that's also good. Got body
offensively.
press.
Bastion also gets a really important supporting move called Wide Guard, which is
Yes.
limited in distribution, like not as many Pokemon get it as you would like, though there are still a fair few that get it, and is one of the best moves, especially when restricted Pokemon are around.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Terrapagos.
Abilities are okay, it also gets sturdy, which can help protect it against a one-hit KO.
Just imagine like if it's choice specs, what do you call it? Choice specs Terrapagos. Can't really hurt you, especially if it's their last mon. You just wide guard, they can't hurt you.
From a powerful, super effective, most likely attack, and it gets soundproof, which helps against certain moves like Hyper Voice and Perish Song, though those moves aren't always especially common. Bastion is actually the only Pokemon on our list with 2 recorded results. It got 76th place in January of 2025 at San Antonio Regionals. It followed this
Bastion on
performance up with
Mafia.
a 33rd placement 2 months later on March 8th, 2025 at Fortaleza Regionals. I am so sorry if I've butchered that pronunciation. These results are from 2 different players, though the 6 Pokemon on their teams are identical. This was also in the single restricted format, just like we talked about with Fortress, and I'm guessing that Bastiodon filled a similar role here, although it may have been a little bit more versatile than Fortress was. In addition to Iron Defense and Body Press, allowing it to be a meaningful physical threat, especially against Pokemon like Calyrex Ice Rider, both Bastiodons
Oh
use the
yeah,
move
it does wall Calrix Pepper Ice Rider.
Wide Guard for team support and Foul Play as well. The combination of Wide Guard and Foul Play allow
I mean,
Bastion
unless
to
it's
really
running
threaten
Giga
Calyrex
Drain or
Shadow Rider,
something.
as you naturally resist its psychic moves, can use Wide Guard to stop its ghost type moves, and can use Foul Play to threaten a one-hit KO if they don't terrestrialize. In a terrestrialization format, I think that Bastion is a lot better than Fortress, but given that terrestrialization has only been in Scarlet and Violet and will eventually be in Pokemon Champions, I felt like it was worth taking into consideration that Fortress has just like way better typing across the board.
Yes, the typing wise it's
I think
better.
it's more likely that going forward we see Bastion before we see another Fortress. Okay.
That's also fair. But now that Wolfie has put it on the worst steel type video, the Bastion Mafia is gonna spam it until it wins a
That was
tournament
the
or
last
something.
Pokemon on our list with a recorded result. Every other Pokemon, there's no recorded instance of them being used in the official competitive format, though of course, the data from before Sword and Shield is a bit lacking sometimes. Not relevant here though, because the number 7 Pokemon on our list is a Pokemon introduced in Scarlet and Violet, Revavroom. Despite not having any
Oh my
results,
god,
I
I
would not say that
predicted it.
Revavroom is a bad Pokemon. As a Steel and Poison type Pokemon, it's one of the few Pokemon in the game that has a quadruple resistance to Fairy, which is pretty valuable because Fairy type Pokemon are quite strong. Its
Yes,
stats are also a lot
very
better
strong.
than any of the
Deepest
Pokemon we've
type in the
talked
game.
about thus far. It has a totally usable speed stat, respectable bulk, although I wouldn't say it's great, and a usable attack stat as well. The issue is really the typing. Steel and Poison typing is awkward for
Like I said, the typing is like really
not only do you have a quadruple
awkward.
weakness to ground, but you're also weak to fire as well. Having only 2 weaknesses is really good, but having one of those weaknesses be a quadruple weakness to a type that is very common.
Okay, this was not the point I made. I thought I was being smart by mentioning the fairy type.
Is a bit concerning at the
I was just trying to be smart. I guess I'm not smart.
very least. The other issue with Revavroom's typing is its offensive matchups. Neither Steel or Poison type Pokemon are able to hit opposing Steel types, making it very easy for Revavroom to feel awkward. Poison is also just not a type that you often want to use offensively. The main use case is for Fairy type Pokemon, but if you're a Steel type, you're already doing that, so it makes the type.
I predicted it. Oh my god. I'm not saying like I'm better than him, but oh my god. He mentioned my point. Oh my god. That was so cringe. That was so cringe. I'm going to cut that out of the video. That was so cringe. But yeah, like that's what I was saying earlier. Like you're hitting Fairy anyways, like offensively with Steel type. So what is Poison really
A bit
doing?
redundant, as both Steel and Poison are types that you want on your team, like for the resistances, especially for the resistance to Fairy. So putting them together kind of, yeah, it just makes it redundant. That being said, Revavroom has a number of good moves.
Yes, redundant was the word I
I
was looking for.
Yep, Spin Out is a signature move. It has a very high base power and drops Revavroom's speed by 2 stages. Meaning you can use it in conjunction with like a Trick Room team. Maybe give Revavroom a Choice Scarf and then have this as an option.
Like, oh, you can run like slow start, spin out. Trick Room special attacking. And it's going to do like 0
So you can use
damage.
it both in and out of Trick Room. It gets the supporting move, Parting Shot. It actually gets good coverage moves as well.
Oh,
Like it gets
Tail
Overheat,
Room
it gets High
teams. Okay,
Horsepower, it
that
gets
makes
Temper Flare.
sense.
I think those are most of the notable ones. It gets both Poison Jab and Gunk Shot for your physical poison type moves, depending on how okay you are with missing. And it also gets some interesting supporting moves like Haze. If we ever have a format where Xerneas is really strong
Oh, it
again, I could
was
see some people trying out
Xerneas.
Revavroom because of its quadruple resistance to Fairy and access to the move Haze. Of course, Revavroom will have to contend with Groudon or Primal Groudon, God forbid, most likely. But we'll
Yeah,
cross that
that's
bridge
also
when we
true.
come to
Dual
it. Anyway,
restricted
like
like
I said,
Xerneas
Revavroom's not a
and
bad Pokemon. It
Groudon
just
are
feels a little
like
bit awkward. I think
evil.
Revavroom is a Pokemon that could really shine in a lower powered format, but I imagine it's hard for it to keep up when Pokemon like Incineroar and Urshifu are around. I also appreciate the irony in that I said I could keep up in a lower power format after immediately saying, yeah, it can be
Yeah, I
used
was
as a
about to
Xerneas check,
say
but
that.
like restricted formats, especially restricted formats with Xerneas, are kind of like sometimes it wraps all the way back around, where your Pokemon isn't chosen because it's generally strong, but because
Crobat
it's
was
good
used,
specifically to
right?
one specific threat.
Back in the
This is
day.
irrelevant. I'm off topic. Anyway, all this to say that Revavroom is not a bad Pokemon by any
Crobat
means. I
was
could see
used
it
for
being
like
used in the
haze
future. It's
stuff.
probably just a Pokemon that needs
I guess
exactly
you
the
can
right
use like
conditions to be strong. The number
Revavroom
6
as like a
Pokemon on our list is a
Crobat
Pokemon that also has no
type
results, but is a
Pokemon where
Pokemon
you
that
just
I'm
haze and you
surprised to
resist
see has no
Xerneas'
results.
hits.
It's
That's what Wolfey also
Copperajah.
meant.
Copperajah on paper is a good Pokemon. It's a pure Steel type, which is one of the best single types that you can have. It has a high base attack stat. It has an
I don't
ability that
actually
can boost
get
its attack stat even further.
I don't know
It has
why
a
I
really high
gasped.
base HP stat that offsets the fact that its defenses are a little bit awkward, and it's really slow, making it a great Trick Room attacker. I'm a little bit surprised it doesn't have any results, because there isn't like a glaring, forgive me, elephant in the room as to why this Pokemon is secretly bad. The thing that I haven't talked about yet is its
The thing, like, I could think of something, but I feel like it's also an issue with other Pokemon. It's not really an issue with Copperajah. It's just other Trick Room teams have been adapting into the style. The thing is, like, Trick Room is like, if you're a Trick Room attacker, you kind of want to either deal like insane amounts of damage, like Barcelona, or you need to like help set up Trick Room. If your support is setting up Trick Room, you need to make sure like you played a bodyguard for your support to enable it to play Trick Room. Like obviously like Ferigraph already does it, but Ferric could still get like non-prankster taunted, or like rode out of the way, or like imprison Trick Room or something. I know it's obviously not. I'm being too unfair to Ferric, like by mentioning all the ways to counter it. But like I'm just saying, you need to be able to provide like a bodyguard to your Trick Room setter, and I think Copraja doesn't have any toolkit in it. But Barcelona doesn't have anything in its toolkit either. But the thing is, like Barcelona Blood Moon, like it does so much damage though. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. While I don't think Copperajah does that much damage.
Movable, which is also really good. It gives high horsepower and superpower to hit opposing steel-type Pokemon who would otherwise resist its steel-type moves. It gets Iron Head, which is boosted by sheer force, its ability. It gets Play Rough as a fairy-type coverage move, which is very unusual.
Oh.
It gets Heat Crash, it gets Stone Edge, it gets
Damn,
Super
this thing is like stacked as hell. Why is it bad?
Cell Slam, not
Was
the name of
I
your
wrong?
move. It's like, it looks totally good. I don't really understand
Was
why
I
this
wrong?
Pokemon
Like,
has
can
no
this thing
usage.
do
It
deal
actually
like
even got
insane
a signature
damage?
Gigantamax form, which was really good. If you used a Steel type move while you were Gigantamaxed, you would set up the Steel Spike, which is like Stealth Rocks to Steel type. So it would damage Pokemon for a percentage of their health depending on how
Infinite
steel they were
duration.
every single time they switched in.
What the? Was this thing just bad because it didn't have time to shine?
This while attacking, you didn't have to use like a passive move in order to do it. I really don't understand why this Pokemon
Oh, I
has no
swear
results.
again,
I
sorry.
think the real reason is actually like comparison. Is that the right way to put it? Comparison is the thief of joy. It's not that Copperajah is bad. It's that if you're building a Trick Room team, there are better Pokemon to use inside Trick Room as your dedicated Trick Room sweeper than
Yes,
Copperajah.
that's what I was
Teams with
saying.
Trick Room, and especially teams that are fully dedicated to Trick Room, typically want Pokemon that are going to win the game in the first Trick Room, like before it expires. And in Scarlet and Violet, the most common Pokemon you would use for this are Pokemon like Torkoal and Urshifu and Gallade. Pokemon with
Urshifu? Really? I never knew that. I guess my Arsenal example was bad then. I thought Arsenal was like one of the best trick room sweepers or something.
Either a ton of strong single target burst damage or extremely powerful spread moves. Bonus points of these Pokemon could do something outside of Trick Room, like Torkoal setting the sun up, potentially even using Helping Hand,
priority moves. Yeah, I forgot about that.
and Urshifu hitting through Protect or having Sucker Punch with priority. Blade could even use Wide Guard for a little bit of outside of Trick Room utility. And I guess if there's one area where Copperajah lacks, it's in this out of Trick Room utility. It really wants to be attacking when the dimensions are twisted, but it's pretty vulnerable when they aren't. Add on to this the fact that Copperajah does not get any moves to help set Trick Room up, like Fake Out or Follow Me or Rage Powder. Not that I think it should get these moves. It wouldn't make sense for it to get these moves, of course.
Yeah,
the
that's
fact
what
that
I
it
was
doesn't get
thinking.
anything and also doesn't get any priority moves in general that are worth mentioning, or maybe at all. Yeah, at all actually. Makes it a bit awkward to actually use in practice. That being said, this Pokemon has enough going for it that I'm sure it will see some play in the future. Okay, that's the turning point of our list. From here on out, the Pokemon are just straight bad. So far, every Pokemon on the list, I would not go so far as to say that they're actually bad.
Lots of interesting Pokemon. I never thought about them.
Most of the time. From here on out, these are the bad Pokemon. Starting with number 5, Alolan Dugtrio.
Dude, I hate this Pokemon. I absolutely hate this Pokemon. It's not like my, like, how do you call it? It's not like my least favorite Pokemon or something, but it's hair, dude. It's hair. It's hair is like a bit. But I kind of get why it's on the list.
In this list, I put it at 2nd overall, but after talking a bit with my producer Scarlett, she convinced me that it should be a bit higher up, but I still think it's pretty terrible. Here's the positive thing I can say about Alolan Dugtrio. It's basically like mini Excadrill. Ground and Steel is great typing.
Yeah, like if Excadrill is not in the game, just use some other steel type and use some other ground type. Don't try bothering it. Don't bother using it.
No question about that. They have decent synergy together because Steel is resisted by both Steel and Electric, both of which Ground hits for super effective, and Steel is able to hit all the types for neutral damage that Ground hits for not very effective.
Theoretically, but when you don't have the stats for it, what's the point?
Slower than regular Dugtrio, but 110 base speed is still nothing to scoff at. Okay, speaking of the speed, let's talk about the other stats. This is ultimately the problem. This is ultimately the nail in the coffin for Alolan Dugtrio. Its stats are abysmal, and it's actually not even its fault. The thing about Alolan Dugtrio is that its base stats are based on regular Dugtrio stats. This is a regional variant, and so therefore it's not allowed to
that's so
deviate
bad
in total stats from regular Dugtrio. So it just straight up does not have the stat points to be good. One of the worst HP stats in the game.
God, 35 base HP. Dude, this thing dies to an ember from a Cyndaquil or something.
Period. An attack stat that isn't worth writing home about. And defense and special defense stats that would be fine if a Pokemon had HP like Copperajah, but it's Dugtrio. It doesn't. Barring a stupid signature ability, there's also a hidden ability, which gives it a damage boost in the Sandstorm. If you have sand on a team and you wanted a ground and steel type, you should just use Excadrill, making this awkward. Alolan Dugtrio also gets Sand Veil, which is just like the more gambly version of Sand Force. Now, the third ability of regular Dugtrio is Arena Trap, which is an exceptional ability, and I think that if Alolan Dugtrio got this ability, it would have been higher up the list, if not, you know, not even on it at all. Arena Trap doesn't work on flying type Pokemon or ghost type Pokemon or levitating Pokemon, but trapping your opponent in the field is very good, so it would change the viability a lot, given that Alolan Dugtrio has better typing than base Dugtrio. The issue is that the third ability of Alolan Dugtrio is a signature ability, an ability they created just for Alolan Dugtrio.
Really? Oh. I actually thought, for some reason, I thought, what's it called? The prankster mode. Grimmsnarl had this
It's
ability,
called
no?
Tangling Hair, and every time the opponent makes physical contact with Alolan Dugtrio, their speed is lowered by
I guess Grimmsnarl would be a better user of this ability than Dugtrio at least. I mean, Grimmsnarl would still use prankster over disability, but still.
This is a hilarious ability given how Alolan Dugtrio looks, and I do appreciate it from like a lore and world building perspective, but it's also a slap in the face for Alolan Dugtrio, because for an ability like this to be good, you need your Pokemon to be taking multiple hits over the course of the battle. This is effectively the GUI ability that Goodra gets, except it's reskinned. And Goodra's a good ability of GUI because, yeah, like Goodra's really tanky, so it's feasible that it could take 3 or 4 hits over the course of a battle and have this ability activate multiple times, messing up your opponent's speed. Alolan Dugtrio can take 2 hits at most, and that's only only if it's holding the focus sash item. Its bulk is so terrible that it can't make use of this ability at all. Basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is that for a Alolan Dugscrew to be good, it would need to have something to do offensively because its bulk is so poor that it just can't do anything defensively. And its signature ability being an ability that is best when it's being used defensively just is totally out of whack with how the Pokemon wants to be played. It's a funny Pokemon. I don't think
The editor is like cruel for that, right? It's so like common meme, but it just caught me so off
it will
guard.
ever be good unless they give it another evolution or a mega evolution or something.
Especially given it already had.
Some real help here. Okay, the fourth worst steel type Pokemon of all time.
Oh, you're already
is
up to 4? Damn.
Probopass.
Oh, the nose hair
Probopass is
Pokemon.
kind of like Bastiodon if it were bad.
Oh, dude, the cruel thing is like these two were released in the same gen. So unfortunate.
Both Probopass and Bastiodon are rock and steel type Pokemon. We've talked about why this is bad, and their stats are geared in the exact same way. They're both slow and have low base HP stats, but have super high defense and special defense stats to compensate without really anything to write home about for their attack and special attack stat. By that I mean they're both terrible offensively. Probopass is geared slightly more towards being a special attacker, but like 75 special attackers.
That's nothing to like be proud of.
Rely on this Pokemon to do damage. Here's the issue with Probopass, okay? It's made out of magnets. It's like the magnet Pokemon.
Oh yeah, it
Pokemon,
is.
right? Its mustache is magnets. In game, to move around, Probopass floats. It levitates. Probopass does not get the levitate ability. If it did, its viability would shoot up so high it wouldn't
Yeah, because it would lose its weakness to ground, which is like really good because it has a quadruple weakness to
even
ground.
be on this list. But it doesn't, meaning it has that quadruple weakness to ground as well as the quadruple weakness to fighting as well as the weakness to water. Probopass does have a good ability in Magnet Pull, which can trap opposing steel type Pokemon on the field. This is kind of like extremely niche Shadow Tag. It also gets Sturdy, which, you know, is always a useful ability to have when you have
Dude,
some
it's
big
just
weaknesses. Probopass to
mini
me feels like a lot of
Bastiodon, like
it
Wolfie
gets a
said.
number of good supporting moves. Wide Guard is one of the big ones. Taunt,
Again,
Underwave, Helping
both have
Hand,
Wide Guard.
Gravity, Pain Split. We already mentioned Wide Guard. It actually also gets access to Iron Defense and Body Press, just like
Oh
Bastiodon.
my
So I
god.
guess now that I'm looking at it, it could be like just what Bastiodon did, right? Wide Guard, Iron Defense, Body Press. But it is an inferior version of Bastiodon, as
Exactly.
Bastiodon has, I think, over 20 points higher in defense, and is also 10 points slower, which actually works in its favor because the difference between 30 and 40 base speed is not going to matter outside of Trick Room, but it will matter
Oh.
inside Trick Room.
Oh, I mean,
This
yeah.
is just mini Bastiodon. Probopass is just Bastiodon minus. And I think that's a shame because like these Pokemon are introduced in the same generation. They made two rock and steel type Pokemon that even share an ability and share a typing and have really similar stats and similar move pools, and they added
Poor
both
thing,
of them
dude. Now I feel
before.
bad
And I wish
for
they'd
him.
done something to give Probopass more of an identity of its own, right? I don't think that giving it Levitate would have made it broken at all. It's still like it still would be awkward to use, but I think it would have allowed it to have a niche that Bastiodon doesn't. I don't know. I just feel disappointed with Probopass. I think because Nosepass is such a bad Pokemon that like when you have the chance to make it like meaningfully better by giving it an evolution, that's exciting, and then to have it be like, I mean, they did improve Nosepass a lot, right? Probopass is a lot better than Nosepass, but like that's only because Nosepass is so bad in the first place. So I don't know. I don't really have much to say about Probopass. It's just mini Bastiodon. Bastiodon minus. Okay, before we talk about our top 3, let's do some honorable mentions. Most steel type Pokemon are actually pretty good, so I don't have that many honorable mentions here. The first is Steelix. Steelix would have been
Wolfie, you went like, I don't remember if he won it. I think he went like second recently, right? In a Pokemon Champions tournament.
on this list if not for its Mega Evolution,
Regionals
which I actually
or
brought to a
something.
tournament and finished top 16 with back in 2019. No, 2018. Is this recorded anywhere?
Now
Okay,
it
it's not
has body
recorded.
press.
I'm pretty sure it was 2018. I'm pretty sure I got top 16.
I think he recorded before
It actually
his,
hits harder than you'd expect, and it's really tanky. I also forgot about this, but even before Mega Evolutions, it actually placed 10th place at US Nationals.
No, this was, yeah, he was about to, yeah, the regionals. This was recorded before Wolfie got second in Indianapolis regionals. Yeah, he got second. Like, I was wondering, like, why didn't he
back
put it
in
here?
2013. So Steelix is safe. Skarmory is another Pokemon that probably almost definitely would have been on this
I
list.
think it's
but
more
it
like
got
a
Mega
potential
Evolution,
one.
Therefore, it is safe. Skarmory technically has no recorded results right now, but I think now that its Mega Evolution is out, it will get some eventually. It's not a bad Mega Evolution by any means. The last honorable mention is a Alolan Sandslash. Initially, I had it on my list in like 10th or 9th, but then I looked up tournament results and I see that it actually has a number of results in 2017. Its
Really?
best placement was 8th place at a regional, which is really good. It also got 9th, 15th, and 17th, all used by
What
different
the
players.
hell?
It was one of the only Slush Rush Pokemon in the format. It may have been the only Slush Rush Pokemon in the format, and being able to outspeed Pokemon like Choice Scarf Tapu Lele melee was probably pretty valuable is my guess. And even though the
Oh,
typing is pretty bad and Sandslash is like not anything exceptional on its own, I guess in this format it was actually pretty decent. In theory, it's even better now because this was back before hail was snow, and so like snow is just a better weather condition than hail. So in theory, Alolan Sandslash should be even better in the future if there's ever a format
but like one stray like special attack and it's
where it can
just
be good.
down.
Okay, top 3 time. Coming in at number 3 on the worst steel type Pokemon.
Okay, let's try some predictions. But the thing is, it's like steel though, which is the issue. I can't think of any bad steel types. I'm pretty sure Wormadam is in like top three, so that's one. And I don't know, just think of like any early gen Pokemons, I guess. Is Magnezone good? I don't know, but it wouldn't have been this high, even if it's not that great. Aggron? No way, Aggron's gonna be in top three. Um, what else is there? Durant was like really good in Sword and Shield, I think. Sheet, I can't think of any. Alright, fine, I give up.
List is Klinklang. I really
What?
like this Pokemon. I don't know
I
why.
just
I know
forgot
it's
it
stupid, but I
existed.
really like this one. Klinklang is a pure steel type Pokemon. Klinklang has okay stats. Defense stat is above average.
What
Special
the
defense
hell
stat
are
is a little
those
bit middling.
stats?
Speed stat is average.
Actually, kind of reminds me of Berserker, to
Attack
be
stat is
honest.
slightly below average. HP stat is not very good. Overall, it's not great stats, is what I will say, but they're not terrible. Like you don't look at these stats and you're like, you could never use
It's
this
like
Pokemon in any
usable.
context. It also has one good ability in Clear Body, preventing the opponent from lowering its stats. This has good synergy with the only real reason players would ever consider Klinklang, which is its signature move, Shift Gear. I said that so confidently. Shift
Oh.
Gear is not a signature move.
Oh.
Okay, but it's not learned by that many Pokemon. It's like Magearna and Toxtricity in Sword and Shield.
What?
Anyway, it gets the move Shift Gear. Shift Gear is a really good
That's
move.
so
This is like
random.
Dragon Dance Plus. It raises the user's attack by 1 stage and speed by 2 stages. On a strong Pokemon, this move would be absurd. On Klinklang, not so much. But it is nice that with Clear Body, you can't lower Klinklang's stats. Okay, Klinklang actually does get a signature move called Gear Grind, which if you know about Iron Crown, is that what it's called? Yeah, Iron Crown. It's basically like the bad version of Tachyon Cutter.
Oh.
It's a physical steel type move that hits twice with each hit having 50 base power. That
Why is
alone
it
really good.
85%
Like,
accurate?
effectively a 100 base power move that hits twice, which is more often than not a positive thing in competitive play. That's really good, except that the move is only 85% accurate for some reason. Even 90% accurate would be like a little bit unfair in my opinion for a move like this. I think 95 is where it would feel like fair. I would be okay with 100.
Yeah, because it's a signature ability. Like, not ability,
It's not
move.
that strong of a move and it's on freaking Klinklang for crying out loud. But no, it's 85% accurate. You could use Fire Blast with 85% accuracy, or you could use Gear Grind from Klinklang.
It's that makes it sound even worse.
Of course, Klinklang does get access to Iron Head, so it's not like the only steel type move that it can use, but it still feels like wasted potential. Gear Grind is not the only issue with Klinklang's moves, though. The other issue is that it doesn't really get any other moves. If you want to use a coverage move on Klinklang, your options are Wild Charge. I'm not being funny.
No Thunderbolt?
That's literally it. I'm scrolling through the move pool now. It gets normal moves and Wild Charge.
Oh, it's a physical attacker.
Giga
Never mind.
Impact. Assurance. You can use Assurance. This thing's move pool is like almost as bad as Regieleki's. I don't know why it doesn't get any moves. Like it's not a good
Really?
Pokemon. You
Is
don't
it
need to
that
worry about
bad?
keeping this
Regieleki
Pokemon
is
down.
like
Give it a couple
really
moves, give it high
bad.
horsepower. I squint. It looks like a horse, right? It gets nothing.
What?
Literally nothing. I'm not.
What, Wolfie? You did not just say.
Exaggerating.
I know he's like
nothing.
being
It gets
sarcastic.
iron defense, but no body press. I think especially not having a secondary typing here hurts.
I know he's
Klinklang
being
because you can then
sarcastic.
use at least like Protect, Shift Gear, Gear Grind, and then whatever move like is strongest from its other typing. But as a pure steel type, it only has Iron Head and Gear Grind. And frankly, this isn't worth justifying putting Klinklang on your team. I could see it having some use in some. No, I can't see it having use. Never mind. It's a Pokemon that I like a lot. It's a Pokemon I
Oh,
never
we
really
laughed at the
expect to
same
see
time.
in competitive play. It just doesn't have a lot going
Klinklang exists to make its pre-evolution better with
But it does have
like.
slightly more going on than
Which is
number
even
2
worse.
Pokemon on our list. Stunfisk Galarian form.
Oh,
Before
I
you say anything
forgot. I actually forgot it's steel
in the
type.
comments, yes, I know this was one of the best Pokemon in Pokemon Go for some time.
Really?
Not so in the official competitive format. Stunfisk Galar is a bit of a letdown for me personally. I like base Stunfisk. I know it's not a very popular Pokemon, but I think it's really funny. There was a player named Zach back in like 2011 who I think did pretty well with Stunfisk, or maybe it was just like an in-joke in the community, but I remember him actually using Stunfisk at tournaments. When I heard it was getting a Galarian form, I was like curious at the very least, and when I heard the Galarian form was Ground and Steel typing, I was interested because Ground and Steel is good typing. They also gave it a really interesting ability called Mimicry. Mimicry causes Galarian Stunfisk's type to change when the terrain changes.
Yes, but it would change its primary type too. Like, so from steel ground, you'd go to like just pure grass, pure psychic, pure electric, pure. Fairy, I guess.
So it becomes electric and electric terrain, psychic and
Yeah,
psychic
it
terrain,
becomes
etc.
monotype.
Fairy and misty terrain, grassy and grassy, whatever. Galarian Stunfisk also has a couple other things going for it. It has good bulk with like totally passable defenses and a high base HP stat, and it also gets a signature move called Snap Trap, which recently received a buff, I'm pretty sure, in Pokemon Champions, excuse me. Snap Trap is a steel type move that does damage over time and inflicts, it's like Fire Spin and Whirlpool if you're familiar with them.
But 100% accurate. See, this is like it's not good, but at least they made it 100% accurate because it's a signature move.
Those moves. The issue is that this is kind of all that Galarian Stunfisk can do. It doesn't have very good offensive stats, and it doesn't have many other moves that allow it to like do damage passively over time and actually keep up with the pace of the battle. It actually gets a number of really good coverage moves, funnily enough. Like, of course, it gets Earth Power and Flash Cannon like you'd expect, but it gets Ice Fang, it gets Muddy Water, it gets Scald, it gets Sludge Bomb, it gets Sucker Punch, Pain Split. Like, it gets a number of good moves, but the problem
Isn't it
is
a support? Why does it get so many offensive
just like many
moves?
Steel-type Pokemon, Galarian Stunfisk also is weak to both fighting and ground, and although it has the like stats that it isn't like always going to be one hit.
Isn't this thing a support?
Really should be. The fact that it can't do anything back makes it just feel like really awkward and out of place. Galarian Stunfisk basically has the stat spread and the typing for a defensive Pokemon, maybe one that has some team support. Like if it had Tailwind and was faster, if it had Follow Me, if it had Fake Out, if it had Rage Powder, right? All these moves that have generally good utility, it could be a great user of them. But the move pool is really geared towards making it an offensive Pokemon, using moves like Earth Power.
Why would it get Tailwind? That's so random.
Or Flash Cannon, Scald.
I guess it has a tail. It could like flap it like plop, 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 and like wind would blow from behind. I don't know. And I also don't know what sound I just made.
Sucker Punch, right? And so it ends up in the spot where it doesn't really have an identity because it gets caught between two different ways of playing. I do like it. I do
exactly.
Like they buffed Snap Trap. I think like it could maybe in the right circumstances be used as a really niche pick that has a strength because nobody knows what to expect from it. Maybe when terrains become more present in like the current competitive format, it can have some use going forward.
That's so mean. I know what he did here. Like he put a Tapus and he replaced Tapu Bulu with like
because like it is an interesting ability, right? And
a freaking Rillaboom
that can change its type is probably pretty like decent at the very least. But even then, I think it's kind of a far cry for poor Galarian Stunfisk. The one good thing I will say about Galarian Stunfisk is that it isn't the worst steel type Pokemon. That honor instead goes to.
Is that supposed to make him feel better?
Wormadam Trash.
Yay! We predicted it right because like I know how bad this thing is, so I kind of expected it to be like top 3.
I can say one good thing about Wormadam Trash, which is perhaps ironically, out of all the Wormadams, Wormadam Trash is the best one. It has that steel
because of the
which,
type,
as we've established, is really good. And that's actually no. I can say one more good thing about Wormadam Trash. It gets the Overcoat ability, which is not wasted. It can allow it to ignore powder and powder moves. This is wasted on Wormadam plant form because it's a grass type. Ignores those moves. But yeah, Wormadam Trash can be immune to certain powder moves. Okay, that's the last good thing I can say about Wormadam. It's really slow. It has like passable bulk, but I wouldn't say it's good. I wouldn't even say it's average. It's probably just below average. And its offenses are really bad, like really, really bad. It has no moves that support the team, not even Rage Powder, despite the fact that I think I've raged about this Pokemon at least 3 or 4 separate times.
Why doesn't it get Rage Powder? Rage Powder is like, it's a bug. Like, I think it should get a Rage Powder. Yeah, that feels that's surprising.
Tailwind does learn the move Quiver Dance, which is one of the best setup moves in the entire game.
But it's on Wormadam. That's not good.
It had even like, you know, a decent speed stat, you could justify using
exactly.
It. Like surely Flashkin and Bug Buzz Quiver Dance Protect is like a good move pool, right? If this Pokemon had like 100 base speed, like surely you could justify using it. But its base speed is 36. It has no speed. There's just nothing for Wormadam to do, and even though this typing is really good, it doesn't have a way to really take advantage of it. Sorry, Wormadam. I honestly feel kind of bad for Wormadam at this point. I think this is a Pokemon that's so bad that they could actually justify giving it an evolution at some point, which is crazy to say because it's already, you know, an interesting Pokemon line. But I think this might be an Applin Diplin Hydrapple situation. That's my, I'm coping a little bit, but that's my theory. Anyway, those are all the worst steel type Pokemon. Let me know which one is your favorite. If you like this video and you want more,
I don't think any of those are like from my favorites
series, which is what is the worst ghost type Pokemon.
Yeah, be sure to check that out and check out Wolfey, like too, like if you still don't follow him, like if this is how you're finding him for some reason. But yeah, like that was a really good video. Like it was fun watching and like learning why each type, like each mon was kind of bad. at what it does. Be sure to check the video yourself, and the video will be linked in the description. And that's it. See you guys in the next one. Bye.